Actually, the input lag on OLED... Okay, so... I mean, maybe you know that, but I'm just gonna, like, clear things up for people watching. There's, like, two types of latency that you can have on a monitor. There's input lag, which is the amount of time it takes for the signal to be to enter the monitor, and for the monitor to process that signal and to decide to display whatever color of a pixel. That's the input lag. And usually you don't really get input lag lower than 8 milliseconds, no matter what the monitor, no matter what the technology, at 60 hertz. And then the higher the hertz, the higher the the lower the input lag. Also, the top of your screen has lower input lag than the bottom of your screen because it starts the process from the top to the bottom. Now, there's also the refresh rate, which is different than the input lag. The refresh rate is the amount of time after receiving the signal. So you had already that input delay from the signal being sent into the monitor processing that signal to decide which pixel to change to which color, and then the amount of time a pixel takes to switch from one color to the other is the response time. And so that's what OLEDs are better than other monitors at, but not in input lag. And so some OLED monitors have input lag a little higher than, let's say, IPS or VA monitors, but they make up for it by having a refresh time for each pixel that is basically under 1 millisecond. But usually the difference in in actual input delay for the grand total of things, if you count the signal that enters the monitor and the pixel that changes, usually that full delay is very, very similar from one technology to the other. So the whole thing about OLED is really like Firekeeper said, it's really the motion blur. Because if you play at higher FPS, the motion clarity of OLED is better even at lower FPS, but you're gonna see much more of a difference if you get like to the 120 and higher. Like even if you look at some motion comparison for like 60 FPS and 60 hertz modes, it's a difference, but it's not like a huge difference. But the difference, generally speaking, between like a top of the line OLED and a top of the line, let's say IPS or VA monitor, is usually around 4 to 5 milliseconds. Usually around something like that. Yeah, like Mem said, like the real proper way to test that stuff is actually like real photon test with slow motion camera. Like that's the proper way to test these things. So basically what happens is you videotape your screen, you put a slow motion camera in front of your screen and you attach, like you modify your setup so that when you press whatever input, a light, basically whatever your input is, it lights up something so that you have an indicator of when the signal is sent. And then you compare that to when the signal is received on the screen. That's basically the real input lag. Like, there's nothing more real than that for like end-to-end input lag. It's an interesting fight. These guys are ready for Night Rain. Okay, let me just grab my photon ray. Your photon ray, dude. When we say photon, we just mean like the light. Like it's just as simple as let's say like you have a light, right? Yeah, you have an LED light that lights up when the signal passes through, basically. But yeah, if you want that data without having to do that yourself, check out Arting or artings.com, which actually you should Google it because I think there's a fake site that's also malicious, so just Google it. It should be the first link. They have like data for nearly all monitors, so if you're interested in getting a monitor, you should look into that on that site, I mean. And also there's a few YouTube channels that do their own testing as well. Usually the testing is pretty in line from one content creator to the next. We could have attacked Kevin there. Have to be careful though, like the whole crew is here. Kevin does not care. He went for a backstab even. Let's run this guy. When we have time, that is. Oh wow, he jumped over us. Finally. Oh, they were overwhelmed.